Good morning, everyone. My name is Amit Kumar Singh, and in this session, I'm going to discuss 2018 PGCET exam question paper of mathematics section, or which you can call as quantitative aptitude section. So let's go back to the question paper. You can see this question paper. This is 2018 question paper, and I'm going to talk about code A for this exam. Okay, fine. So let's reach to the quant section. So I believe you know about the sectional values in PGCT exam. When we talk about PGCT exam, you will have around 100 questions, 25 questions of English, 25 questions of GK, 25 questions of logical reasoning, and 25 questions of quantitative ability. So when we see these exams questions, for every question you will get 1 marks, and there will be no negative marking for you in the exam. So if I talk about 2018 question paper, it was comparatively quite difficult as compared to 2017 or 19 question paper. So maybe odd years question papers are coming easy, while even years question papers are coming difficult. Anyway, that analogy may get changed this year. Let hope for the best for the 2020. This year PGCT exam is happening on 9th August. So I hope you people are well prepared for that exam and you are doing enough hard work so that you can get your required output for the exam. Like talking about questions, question number 76 is of percentage. This is more of question where you need to use your mathematical ability. So it's not about solving the problem. Question number 76 would be the best way if you can solve by using options. So if you try to solve this question by using steps, then you'll unnecessarily will spend a lot of your time. I don't think that is very reasonable for you. So the answer for question number 76 is option C. Okay, now when you talk about 77, also the question came from percentage. 76 was also a percentage question. 77 is again a percentage question. This would be the kind of again very good question, and it would be good if you know how to convert the ratios into decimals, or decimals into fractions. If you're good in that conversion, it would be really good for you. Like if you know 1.25 means 5 by 4, 1.2 means 6 by 5, then you can solve the question very easily. 78 question was of SICI, simple interest, compound interest. Again, very good question. It require a lot of calculation. Again, the use of quadratic equation. So it may take time to get the answer for question number 78. We spontaneously we can't get the answer so soon. So the answer for this 78 is option C, while 77 it was 305, 76 is option C. 79 again very good question, time, speed and distance question based on circular motion, and really those people who are very good with the concept of circular motion, they can only do this question. So again I'll put this question under medium to difficult level. The answer for that is option A. So that is 3. Then 80 can be considered as easy to difficult level question. Okay, so anyone who have the knowledge about relative speed, that person can easily do this question number 80. The answer for this is 67.5 kilometer per hour. 81 I think it's an easy question. You don't have to do much for this question. So this could be the one of the question. Like the moment if you see the question paper, if you see some kind of questions on linear equation, you should prefer to do that question first. So the answer for this is 330. Now talking about question number 82, again a good question. It's not difficult question. Normally people don't think average question can be difficult. I also believe this average questions are not difficult. But yeah, for question number 82, you need to use your logical ability based on mathematical skills to get the answer. 82 answer is option D, 3 kg. 83 easy question. Answer is 26%. You should not miss this question. 84, talking about 84, the answer is option A. So logarithm. This question is based on logarithm. So not difficult, but you need to good with the concept of logarithm. You can watch my video. I have made around 3 videos only on logarithm, and I have discussed a lot of concepts on logarithm. So please go to my channel and watch the video on logarithm to get a knowledge about that. Now, talking question number 85 can be easy to medium level. I think the answer is 32 days. 86 require basic knowledge on geometry. It can be easy to difficult. Answer is none of these. The answer is root 136. 87 is not difficult question, but probably you should know the concept of circumcenter and orthocenter in a right angle triangle. Orthocenter is the point where the altitudes of the triangle meets, and for a right angle triangle, orthocenter is at the vertices where your right angle is formed. That is a point of orthocenter. While the circumcenter for the right angle triangle is the midpoint of the hypotenuse. So this concept is very important even in the exam like CAT and all. Many times the question came based on circumcenter. So circumcenter is the point of intersection of perpendicular bisectors of the triangle. Centroid is the point where the medians of the triangle intersects, and centroid divide the median in the ratio 2:1. So I believe you are clear with the basic concept of geometry. Question number 88 is very easy question. It is based on similar triangle. The answer is option C. Fine. This answer was option A, 13 centimeter. This all I have discussed already the answers. Now, talking about 89, it's very good question. I consider not difficult, but you need to very good with the concept on coordinate geometry to get the answer for question number 89. The answer is option D. 90 I consider is again easy to medium level. The answer I think is 11. 90. Similarly, 91 you can do it very well, very easily. You can do 91. It's not at all something would be very difficult for you to do. Okay, so basic knowledge on line formation and all, if you have, you can do this question very well. Okay, then 92. Now product, this 92, what was probably it's not at all difficult, considered as very easy question. 92 you can put as an easy question. I think the answer is 13. Anyway, I'll solve these questions for you. 93, easy question, option D. 94, easy question. Okay, you can do it very easily. Basic, no, 95 I put is an easy question. 1:12 is the answer. 96 is a good question. You need to spend a lot of time to get the answer for 96. And then answer is 60 for that. 97, there's a question is easy, 97, but there's a problem with the option. The option should be 39 by 70, 41 by 70, 29 by 70, 17 by 35, which is your answer. 100 is very easy question. You should know the divisibility rule of 625. 625 is 5 to the power 4. So you just need to use the divisibility rule of 625. 99 is easy for those people who are good with the concept of remainder theorem. Please watch my video on remainder theorem, where I talked about Chinese remainder theorem, Wilson method, Fermat-Little theorem. So if you basically any number, if we divided by 100, you have to find the last 2 digits of the number. So if you watch my video on numbers and its application, you'll understand that part very well. 98 is not a difficult question, but it is a time consuming. So you need to use your mathematical skills to get the answer. The answer is option B, 30. Okay, so more or less, if I analyze the problem, if I see percent analyzing the problem, you can see like around 3 questions is of percentage: 76, 77, 76, 77, and 83. 3 question is of percentage. Then you can see time, speed, and distance. 2 questions are there: 79 and 80. Now linear equation, 2 question is there: 81 and 97, something was there, 90, 81 and 98. Okay, so then modern maths like permutation, combination, probability, inequalities, all that, if I put them together, so I can say this questions like 84, they all are comes under what you see little bit difficult maths, which many people consider as logarithm or permutation combination, all that they can put. So you can see questions are there for that. So geometry, 2 questions are there. 1 question is of log, and 3 questions is of permutation combination. 3 questions on geometry, 1 question of coordinate geometry. So overall, I'll consider this question paper is not at all easy question paper, and you need to be very good with your basic concepts to solve the exam papers like this. So 2018 paper was difficult, 17 was very easy, 19 was easy. Then what to expect in 2020? So please be prepared for your preparation. So don't expect by looking at 2017 or 19 paper, don't think that exam would be very easy. Uh, so you need to work a lot. You need to work hard for the exam. Please refer all my videos on YouTube. I have made a lot of videos, around 50 videos I have on quantitative aptitude. Please go to my videos. You can go to my channel. My channel is my name is Amit Kumar Singh. Amit Kumar Singh. You can go to my channel in YouTube. You'll get a lot of information about how to solve these questions. You can see this is my channel. You can see this is my channel. Fine. So talking about quantitative aptitude. 1 minute. So talking about quantitative aptitude, I have made a lot of videos on quantitative aptitude. So you can watch my videos on quantitative aptitude. Lot of content I have, around 41 videos, as you can see. You can watch them. Along with that, I have developed videos of many other topics like Excel or R or CA foundation subjects, operation research, which is important subject for those who are preparing for GATE exam. So it's up to you. If you want, you can refer these videos. Talking about 2018 paper, you will not get 2018 paper online also. If you search 2018 paper, PGCT 2000 exam question paper solution, you will not get to PGCT exam question paper solution if you search online also. So I'm developing this solution of this question for you people. These all are previous year CAT level questions. So I hope that you dedicatedly will prepare yourself for the exam so that you will get the best of best result of this, and you will get your dream college. So in case of any doubt regard of your MBA subjects, or in order to talk about how to process with the your ability to work on MBA, you can anytime contact me in my mail ID called AmitSingh0105 @gmail.com. You're most welcome with your doubts on this mail ID. Fine. So we'll start then solving the problem. So this is a basic introduction, the basic information which I wanted to pass on to you. So before we are preparing for exam, before we start solving the paper, we should develop overall an idea about the question paper. We need to do a mental mapping of the question paper. We need to understand how this paper is all about. Is this an easy paper, or is this a difficult paper? And based on that, if it is a difficult paper, we need to plunk easy questions from that. So which all are easy questions, which I can do it very fast. So if I will be given this paper first time, so I would prefer solving 77 first, because I'm good with the percentage. Then I'll do 80. Okay. Then 81 can be done. Then probably 83. Then log I can do, because I'm very good with log. So then the similar triangle, very easy problem. Coordinate geometry I'll not touch in beginning. PNC I'll try to avoid in the beginning. Okay, this then 94 is you can do it first for the first time. 95 is a question on alligation mixture, profit or loss. You can try that question. Okay, then 97 is again easy question on probability. 100 is easy question if you know the divisibility rule of 625. And 99 is an easy question for you if you have the basic knowledge about finding the unit digit or finding the last two digits. If you are not good with that, then it can be a difficult problem for you. Fine. So let's discuss one by one all the questions with all of you, so that you will have the best of best preparation for your PGCT exam. Okay, let's first try question number 76. Please, everyone, please read this question. So if you see this question 76, if you see this question 76, it is given P is X% more than Q. P is X% more than Q. Q is X minus 10% less than R. So P is X% more than Q, and Q is X minus 10% less than R, and P is greater than R, and P is greater than R. So what is the range of value that X can take? So this is the information what you got. Now what you can do, in order to start the problem, you can assume the value of R. You can assume any value of R. So let R is equal to 100. So let R is equal to 100. Okay. Then if you see the option, in the option, the minimum value in the option is, for all the four options, is 10%. So there should not be any confusion on the minimum value of X. Okay, now my concern is to find the maximum value of X. So what is the maximum value of X? And I need to make sure that this condition should satisfy, that your P should always be more than R. Okay, your P should be more than R. Till where this condition works, that only I need to check. So I don't know what can be the answer. So let X is equal to, so randomly let take this value called 30%. Okay, so that by taking 30%, I'll go with option A, B, or either I'll go with the option C, D. Okay, so let's take a value in between. Let X is equal to 30%. So that means P is 30% more than Q. It means P is 30% more than Q, and Q is X minus 10 means Q is 20% less than R. Q is 20% less than R. So you got this information. So you know the value of R. So let R is equal to 100. So if R is equal to 100, so Q is 20% less than R. So Q is 20% less than R. Then your Q is 80. Fine, you know this very well. Then P is 30% more than this. So what is 30% of 80? That is 24. So what is the P value? P value is 104. So here P you are getting more than R. So your P is more than R means, yeah, 30% is still the range of, 30% is still in the range of X, because the P should be greater than R. Yeah, I'm getting P is greater than R. Means my answer cannot be 10 to 28%. This cannot be my answer. So this cannot be my answer. Neither this can be my answer. So now two options left. So two options are left. Now, so either my answer is option C or either my answer is option D. For that, let's try 40%. So if in 40%, if P become greater than R, then my answer would be option D. Otherwise, my answer would be option C. Okay, so let's take R as 40%. So let's take R as 40%. So let's take R. So let's take X as 40%. So let's take X at 40%. So X is 40, P is 40% more than R. And so that means Q is 30% less than R. Okay, fine, you understood this. So what I can do in this condition, what can I do? So here that means, so if you R is 100 and Q is 30% less, so your Q would be 70, and if P is 40% more, 40% more, what is 40% of 70? 28. Everyone I think can do this calculation. So means how much I'm getting P? I'm getting P as 98. So I'm getting, if X is equal to 40%, then I'm getting P, which is 98, that is less than the R, which is 100. What that mean? That means that I cannot take my X as 40%, because my P should be greater than R. So it means this means the range of R cannot be 40%. It is less than 40%. Neither the range of R is option A or B. So means the answer is option C. 10 to 37%. If you want to prove that, we can prove that also. If you want, if you really want to, I really don't suggest that in exam you do that. To go one step further, to further prove that this I'm doing for you people, for you, for your basic knowledge, I'm doing this. Further, I'm doing this. Otherwise, once you do this option elimination, your work is done. So your work is done. So you don't have to drag yourself more into that. So let x is equal to 37%. So it means P is 37% more than R. P is 37%, sorry, P is 37% more than Q. So P is 37% more than Q, and Q is 27% less than R. So if my x is equal to 37%, then you will come up with this conclusion. Okay. So so let R is equal to 100. So Q is 27% less. So what is the value of Q you will get? The value of Q you will get is 73. The value of Q you will get 73. Now, when you talk about P, when you're talking about P is 37% more. So if you talk about P is 37% more. So if P is 37% more, so I believe you have the basic knowledge that if P is 37% more, it means you can say that what is the value of P. If P is 37% more than Q, it means what is the value of P? You can say P is 1.37 into 30, 1.37 into 73. I think you can understand. Otherwise, you want to waste your time, you can do that. So your Q is 73 and your P is 37% more than Q. So that means the value of P is 73. You take common, then 1 plus 0.37. So the value of P is 73 into 1.37. You want to do, you can do this. So unnecessary, you want to waste your time, you have full rights to waste your time to do that. Otherwise, I have to understand that P is 37% more than Q, means P is equal to 1.37 into 73. Now, once you get this, now you have to multiply 137 into 73. If you watch my previous videos on Vedic maths about multiplication, I have talked about multiplication. So you can watch my videos. Around 8 videos I have developed on Vedic maths only to talk about multiplication. So this would be 0, 0. This is 7. This is 7. Then this is 3, 21. So this is 0. This is 3. 21 plus 3, 24. Then this is 9. 49 plus 9, 58. And this is 21. So this is 1, 0, then 0, then 0, 1. So here 1.37. So the answer is 100.01. So if you put this, so you are getting P value as 100.01. So still P is greater than R here. So still you are getting P value greater than R here. So if you take R value till 37, you are getting the P greater than R. The moment if you take any value bigger than 37, then P will become less than R. You want to prove that, you can prove that also. If you really want to do that, let R is equal to 100. So if X is equal to 38, if your X is equal to 38, so means Q is 28% less than this. So the value of your Q would be how much? The value of your Q would be 72, right? The Q value would be 72, right? Now P is 38% more than this. So what is the value of P? The value of P is 1.38 into 72. You can do that. 138 into 72, you can multiply it. So this is 0, then this is 7, this is 0, then this is 2, then this is 21 plus 2, 23, then this is 2, then 21 plus 2, so this is 2, then this is 0, 21 plus 2, that was 23, then this is 6, 56 plus 6, 62, and then this is 16, you'll get 6, 3, 9, 9. So and 2 decimal is there, 99.36. So hence you can understand the moment you took any value which is bigger than 37, you're getting the P as less than R. So this is what I wanted to prove that. This much what I am doing from last, I think 5, 6, 10 minutes, that is not required. If you work on option elimination, your work is done. Fine. So this extra work I just did to bring confidence on you. So you should not feel that I'm doing some magic and I'm just trying to get the answer as soon as possible. That is not my agenda. My agenda is to make sure that you understand the concept. I hope you are clear with this. Fine. So let me erase all this. Fine. So now going further, this 77 question. Let me copy this question. So if you see question number 77, not at all difficult question. Only thing, it will take some of your time. Unnecessary, this question will take your time. A is 25% more than B. So A is 25% more than B means A is 1.25B. So 1.25, 25% more means 1.25. I think you should be in that position that you understand. It means A is 5 by 4B. Okay. A is 25% more than B. A earns 25% more than B. C earns 25% more than A. So C earns 25% more than A means C is 1.25 of 5 by 4B. So C means 5 by 4 into 5 by 4B. So means C is 25 by 16B. So you got this. You got the A value in the term of B. You got the C value in the term of B. So A earns 25% more than B. C earns 25% more than A. That part is done. A earns 20% more than D. And A earns 20% more than D. A earns 20% more than D. So you can write A equal to 1.2D. So A is equal to 6 by 5D. So what is A? A is 5 by 4B. So write everything in the term of B. So 6 by 5D. So the value of D is 25 by 24B. Again, you got the value of D in the term of B. So I got A is equal to 5 by 4B. Then I got C is equal to 25 by 16B. I got D is equal to 25 by 24B. You got ACD. Okay. So you got ACD. Now, once you get this ACD, then E earns 20% more than A. So E earns 20% more than A. So 20% again 6 by 5, and A is 5 by 4. A is 5 by 4B. So E is equal to 3 by 2B. So you got E also. E is equal to 3 by 2B. Once you get this relation, once you get all this relation, then what is written? A, B, C, D, E all earns an integer amount less than 100. This A, B, C, D, E, everything is in integer. Okay. So A, B, C, D, E, everything is in integer. So, and everything is in integer less than 100. Okay. So what is the total amount earned by all of them put together? So you can see all of them together, they're asking us, and they are given everything is integer. So if every A, B, C, D, E all are integer less than 100, so if you do add them, then also you'll get a value in integer only, and so you can't get the answer in decimal. So if I do the sum A plus B plus C plus D plus E, so 5 by 4 plus B is 1. Everything I'm writing in the term of B. Okay. So 5 by 4 plus 25 by 16 plus 25 by 24 plus 25 by 24, then plus 25 by 24. So this A is 5 by 4, B is B only, C is 25 by 16, D is 25 by 24, E is 3 by 2. That everything is in the term of B. So take LCM. What is the LCM you will get? 24 cannot be the LCM. 48 is the LCM. 48 is the LCM. 48 will come now. So 48 will be your LCM. So if 48 is LCM, then then 12 5s are 60 plus 48 plus 3s are 75 plus 2s are 50 plus 72 b. So the value of b would be how much? 60 plus 48. What is 60 plus 48? 108. 108 plus 75. 175 plus 8. 183. 183. 183 plus this. This is what? 7 plus 5, 12. No, 122. So you will get 305. So the sum of this would be 305 by 48b. So this is the sum. This is the sum what you're getting. So the sum I'm getting 305b by 48. You know that you know that this value should be integer. You know that this value should be integer. So how this value would be integer? How this is possible? How this would be integer? If b is equal to 48, so then the sum would be equal to 305. Then only they are integer. Otherwise, they are not at all integer. So the answer for this is option C. So not at all a difficult problem. Only thing it unnecessary will take lot of your time. Okay. So now let's do next question. Question number 78. So question number 78, on a certain sum of money, compound interest earned at the end of 3 years is 1456. Directly you can write down the formula compound interest. So I think everyone knows the formula by this time. I'm not spending my time writing the difference between simple interest, compound interest, and other stuff. So I believe you know by, if you are reached this end of preparation, I believe you know the formula. So this is the formula of compound interest after 3 years. This is 1456. And this is the formula for compound interest after 2 years, where this is 880. Okay, so what you can do, open bracket. So what is a plus b whole cube? A cube plus b cube plus 3ab square plus 3ab square plus 3a square b plus 3a square b is 1456. This is a cube plus b cube plus 2ab is equal to 880. So you can cancel one by one. So you can write p into r cube plus 3r square plus 3r is equal to 1456. And you can write p into r square plus 2r is equal to 880. This is equation 1. This is equation 2. I don't think you have any doubt on this part. Now divide the equation 2 from equation 1. You can take r common also. So you can write r square plus 3r plus 3 divided by r plus 2 is equal to 1456 divided by 880. So you can solve it further. So which number will it go? It is going by 4. Will it go by 8? Will it go by 8? So it is going by 4. So will it go by 8? Last 3 digits you can check. 8 5s are 56. Yeah, it is going by 8. So you can write this. This is 1za. So 65 8za 182. This is 110. Then this is 91 by 55. So now I can write this as r square plus 3r plus 2 divided by r plus 2 is equal to 91 by 55. Simple cross multiply. So you'll get 55 r square plus 165 r plus 110 is equal to 91 r plus 182. Okay, so 55 r square plus 165 r minus 91 r plus 110 minus 182 is equal to 0. So 55 r square plus, so 65 plus 9, 65 plus 9 is 74 plus 74 r minus 72 is equal to 0. Now you got this quadratic equation. So how to solve this quadratic equation? So 72 into 55 is 72 into 55 is 360. This is 360. This is 360. This is 3960. So you got 3960. So this is a, you have to split 3960 into so 72 into 55. No? So this is 10, 35, 360, correct only. So this you'll get as 1980, then 990. So then 419, 495. Then 3. You try with 3. Mm-hmm. So if you try with 3, you will get 1. Then 19. 19 means what? 8. 19. 19 means what? 19 is 6 now. Then 165. Then again 3. Then 55. Then 5. And then 11. So you can think like this. So you can think like this. 72, otherwise 72 into 55. Otherwise, if you think 72 into 55, 72 into 55, how to split this value? 72 is nothing but 9 eights. 72 is 9 eights means 3 square. 72 is 3 square into 2 cube. 55 is 5 into 11. So you can break this term. How can you break this term? Should I apply that formula minus b plus minus b square? I can do that. Before that, let's think if we can split, if we can break this term. So 85 into 11. So you got this 55 square, 55 r square plus 165 r plus 110 is equal to 91 r. 91 r plus 182. If you got this cross multiply, then you got this value, then you can bring 91 r this side, then you can bring 180 this side. So 165 minus 91. So 165 minus 91. So you get 165, then 180 minus 110. So you get 2, you get 7. So minus 72, correct only. Okay, so how to break the middle term? How to break the middle term? So this you can try this. This is 9 eighths, 72. This is 9 into 8. How to break 9 fives are 45. 45 fours are 90. Or should I apply the formula minus b plus minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a? I can, if I can use that formula. So here minus 74 plus minus 74 square. What is 74 square? 74 square is 4 square, 16, 1 carry, then 7 for the 28, 56, 57, 5 carry, 49 plus 5, 54. So 74 square, 5476. Minus plus minus b square minus 4ac. Minus 4ac. 4 into 55 into 72. So 4 into 55 into 72. 4 into 55 into 72. So 72 forza. 72 forza is 8. 288. 288 into 55. So 288 into 55, if you do, you'll get 1440. Then this is 0441. So you get 40815 15840. So minus minus plus 15480. Divide by 2a. 2a means 110. 15480 plus 5476. 1515840. 15. sorry, 15840 is this. This is 15840. So 15840 plus 5476 plus 5476. This is 6, 11, 12, 13. This is 11. This is 21316. So this is 21. This is 21316. Find the square root of that. So take pair. So 1, 1, 1, 2. Then this is 1 za 1, 1, 3. Then 2 6 za 2 5 za 125. 2 4 za 84. 24 4 za 24. 21 1 za 21. 22 2 za 44. 23 3 za 69. 24 4 za is 96. 25 5 za is 125. So 4 za is 28. 24 4 za is 96. So 13 plus 4 17. 1716. So in 28 table, can you get the digit ending with 4? 6 you will get if you multiply with 6 or 4. So 36, 48, 51, 5, 17. You are getting 146 as the square root. You are getting 146 as the square root. So minus 74 plus minus 146 divided by 1110. So you can find 146 minus 74 as 72. So 2a. So by 2a. So you can do this. So 72 by 110. The R value is 146. The R value you're getting as 146. So minus 74 plus minus b minus 74 plus minus 146. This you got 72. So 72 by 110 means 36 by 55. This is the one value you're getting, or minus 146 and 74. This is 10. You're getting 150 minus 150 by 11. 15 by 11 you're getting this. This is not giving any concrete value. This is not giving any concrete value. Let's see if there is step calculation, anything is there. So this is a cube plus b cube plus 3a square b, 3a square b plus 3ab. This is 1456. This is 880. Then you cancel the r and all. So this is r square plus 3r plus 3. This is r plus 2. And this you got 91 by 55, correct? So this is 1 za means 65, 8 za 64. Then 2 za, this is 110. Then this is 91. This is 55. Then this is, if you do cross multiply, 55 r square plus 55 into 3 is 165 only. 55 into 3 is 165. 55 into 3, 50 into 3 is 150. 5 into 3 is 15. 165. Then this is 110. Then this is 91 r plus 182. 91 2s are. So you got 55 r square plus 155 minus 91 r. So this will be 74 only. Now to break the middle term. So you have to break the middle term. So you have to break the middle term. So this is the question what we are trying to solve. So compound interest on certain sum of money, compound interest earned at the 3 years 1456. At the end of 2 years 880. Compute the principal involved. So this is, any calculation mistake is there? 165 minus 91. So you did cross multiply this, you got 91 by 55, you divided by 2. Oh my god, this is 3. No, here I wrote 2. This is 3. This is 3. I wrote 2. So this is the mistake. What is happening? This was 3. I wrote 2. So 55 threes are, this would be 165. So this is 165. Then this would be 165. Then this would be 165 minus 82. So 165 minus 82. 165 minus 182. So 65 plus 15. 65 plus 15 is 80. 18 plus 2. This would be 17. This would be 17. So if this is 17, then 1 minute. So let me just erase all this. So this is 17. So this formulas and all, I believe you know this formula and all. So if this coming back here, so this should be 17. So this is 55, 55. So 55 r square plus 74 r. Now what you can do, 17 into 55 you can do. 17 5s are 85, 17 5s are 85. So this you'll get as 935. So once you get 935, you can break 935. So you can break 935. 935 if you break, you'll get 180, 187. This is 43, 187. Then this is 11 this is 17. So with that you will get the knowledge. This should be 55 r square. If you break, this would be 85 r minus 11 r minus 17 equal to 0. You can break this easily middle term. So if you take common, if you can take common here. So you can write the same thing as 55 r square minus 11 r plus 85 r minus 17 equal to 0. Now you can write 11 r common. So this will be 5 r minus 1 plus you can take 17 common. This will be 5 r minus 1. So with this I can say, with this I can say that 11r plus 17 into 5r minus 1 will be equal to 0. So the r value you'll get is 1 by 5. Once you get the r value, I can find the value principal. Once you get the r value is 1 by 5, you can find the value of principal. So put that in any equation. P is equal to 1 plus r by 100 to the power 2 minus 1 is equal to 880. So the r value you get 1 by 5. So to put in this equation, you'll get the value of P. So what is 1 plus 1 by 5? 1 plus 1 by 5 is 6 by 5. 6 by 5 square is 36 by 25. 36 by 25 minus 1 is equal to 880. So this P would be 11 by 25 into 880 would be 80. So the value of P is 80 into 25. So you get 2000 is the value. This is your answer. Fine. So I hope you understood this. Not at all a difficult problem. Only thing, it's little bit time consuming. It's little bit silly mistakes we need to avoid in exam as much as we can. Clear, everyone? So you can pause the video any moment to see that. Now 78 you understood. Now we'll try 79 question. When everyone please read the question. Try to do from your end. Just try to do. You can pause the video for a couple of minutes and try to do the question from your end. And then once you get the answer, then well and good. Your answer is option A. If you get difficulty, then you can see the solution part. Otherwise, it's well and good. You can go to the next question. Okay, so please everyone, please try to solve this question. Let me cut the question and put to solve it. So when we talk about circular motion, when we talk about circular motion, whenever the object move in circular motion, so whenever the objects are moving in circular motion, so either they'll meet at the starting point or they'll meet somewhere in the middle. So in order to determine the point when the two people will meet somewhere in the middle, like here the A speed is 6 meter per second and the B speed is suppose B meter per second. So what is the so if you want to determine when they'll meet, time when they'll meet at the starting point, so for that you can assume let the length of circular track as L meter. Okay, so let the length of circular track as L meter. So what is the time taken by A to complete one round? So the time taken by A to complete one round, that will be L by 6, and time taken by the B to complete one round, would be L by B. Okay, so please don't get confused with B and 6. I think you may get confused. Better take some other variable. Otherwise, there should be unnecessary confusion. Suppose B is X. So the time taken by the B to complete one round is L by X, and the time taken by A to complete one round is L by 6. So the time when they meet, time when A and B meet at the starting point, time when A and B meet at the starting point, the time when A and B meet at the starting point. So that would be the LCM of that would be that will be the LCM of L by 6 and L by X. That will be the LCM of L by 6 and L by X. So that is the time when A and B meet at the starting point. If you want to know when they meet in middle, so time when A and B meet first time, so the time when A and B meet first time when A and B meet first time, so that will be L divided by the relative speed between them. So either the 6 would be greater than X, or either X would be greater than 6. That can be anything. Anyway, so we can find out. So definitely, because the two people are running in the same direction, so they will meet only when the person whose speed is more will complete one round and meet the other person from behind. So and that would be the first time when they'll meet, and the second time they will meet at the starting point. So you can gradually create an equation for that and try to solve it. Or otherwise, you if you use your basic ability on solving the problem, if the speed of A, two people are there, A and B. The speed of A is 6 and the speed of B is 6. Sorry, the speed of A is 6 and the speed of B is suppose X. Suppose the speed of B is X, and if A is greater than B, so what you do, so how many times they'll meet? So if A is greater than B, then number of time they meet, number of time they'll meet would be 6 minus X. This would be 6 minus X. So this number of time they'll meet, that would be 6 minus X, and that is equal to actually given to you, as 2. But provided here 6 and X would be in simplified form. So when two objects like A, one is going with the speed A, another one is going at the speed B, number of time they'll meet would be A minus B if they're moving in same direction. If they move in opposite direction, number of time they will meet would be A plus B if they move in opposite direction. That basic understanding you need to develop while writing this value. You need to make sure that A and B should be in simplified form. Okay, so that care you need to do to decide that part. That care you need to work on to decide that part. Okay, so here they'll meet. So let I because I'm assuming if I'm assuming that x is less than 6, so then x can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4, it can be 5, it can be anything from 1 to 5. Okay, so now you try. We'll do by trial error. A is 6, if B is 1. So how many times they'll meet? Number of time. How many times they'll meet? So the number of time they'll meet would be number of time they meet would be 5. Okay, if A is 6 and B is 2, so number of time they'll meet would be, that will not be 4. You need to write in simplified form. So the simplified form of this would be the ratio. This ratio is 6 is to 1. So here the ratio would be 3 is to 1. So number of time, how many times they're meeting? They're meeting 2 times. So this would be one of the answer, because that is given in the question that they meet 2 times. So this is one of the answer. Okay. So it is in the problem, it is given that B is the value less than 30. In the problem it is given that the B is the value less than 30. B is a natural number less than 30. So how many value the B can take? So the B can be 2, because you're getting a ratio called here they're meeting 2 times in this ratio. Now similarly, if I take A as 6 and B as 3, so then the ratio would be 2 is to 1. Okay, so they meet 1 time. It's not possible. If this is 6, this is 4, then the ratio would be 3 is to 2, then again 1. If A is 6, this is 5, then they'll meet 1 time. The ratio is 6 is to 5. So how many value the B can take? So if C is if 6 is greater than X, then B can be equal to 2. Okay. So this one condition it is meeting. Now let's talk about the other condition. So now if X is greater than 6, if X is greater than 6, then A and B, you can try the value. So if A is greater than 6, if X is greater than 6, so A is 6, now B is 7. So how many times they meet? Number of time they meet, so that would be equal to 1. And you understand the ratio is 6 is to 7. You can understand they'll meet once. Now if A is 6, this is 8. So the ratio would be 3 is to 4. So again 1. So you have to write the ratio in simplified form. This is 6, this is 9. So then this ratio would be 2 is to 3. Again 1. Then this is 6, this is 10. Then the ratio would be 3 is to 5. So this you are getting number of time they meet. You are getting 2. Means this can be your answer. So this can be your answer. So because they should meet 2 times, this can be your answer. Okay, so 6 and 11, there's no point now. You understand 11 is a prime number. So 6 and 11, that they meet 5 times. 6 and 12, so that would be 1 is to 2. So they'll meet 1 time. 6 and 13, 13 is a prime number. So they'll meet 7 times. Okay, 6 and 14, 6 and 14 means 3 is to 7. 6 and 14 means what? 6 and 14 means what? 3 is to 7. So they'll meet 4 times. So 6 and 15, 6 and 15 means 2 is to 5. They'll meet 3 times. Then 6 and 16 means 6 and 16 means 3 is to 8. Again, they're meeting 5 times. Then 6 and 17 prime number, leave it. Then 6 and 18, the ratio is 1 is to 3. So they're meeting 2 times. Again, this is the answer. Okay. Then 6 and 90, 90 is a prime number, you can leave it. 6 and 20, the ratio would be 3 is to 10. So that is 7 times, not possible. 6 is to 21, then the ratio would be 2 is to 7. So then 5 times, not possible. 6 is to 26 and 22, again not possible, because then if you write it, that is 3 is to 11. And 6 and 24, that is 1 is to 4, not possible, because they meet 3 times. 25, 6 and 25, again not possible. 6 and 26, you'll get very big number, 3 is to 13, there's no logic. 6 and 27, so that would be 2 is to 9 ratio, that's not possible. 6 and 28, 6 and 28 would be 3 and 14, again not possible. 6 and 29, again not possible. So the b can take any value less than 30. So the value of b can be either 2, b can be either 10, or b can be either 18. So how many value it can take? So it can take how many value? So it can take 3 values. Fine. I hope you understood. This is a very good question on circular motion. Then question number 80. Question number 80. So a car A trails a car B by 50 meter. Car B travels at 45 kilometer per hour. Car C travels from opposite direction at 54 kilometer per hour. Car C is a distance of 220 meter from car B. If car A decide to overtake car B uh, before car B and C cross each other, what is the minimum speed at which the A must travel? So car A trail car B by 50 meter. So car A trail car B by 50 meters. This is A, this is B. So they have distance of 50 meter. Okay. So then what is written? Then car B traveling at 45 kilometer per hour. Car B is traveling at 45 kilometer per hour. Okay. And then car C traveling from opposite direction at 54 kilometer per hour. A is also going in this direction. Car C is at opposite direction at 54 kilometer per hour. So, okay. The car C is a distance 220 meter from car B. So this is 220 meter from car B. Suppose this is x kilometer per hour. All are in kilometer per hour. Okay. So when B and C will meet, time for B and C to meet, B and C to meet, you can easily determine that time. This is given in meter, 220 meter. So you know that if two objects move in opposite direction, then the relative speed get added. So 45 plus 54 is 99 kilometer per hour, that I can convert into meter per second by multiplying it with by 5 by 18. So I can write 220 into 18 by 99 into 5. So I can cancel this is 20, this is 9, this is 2, this is 4. The time they'll meet after 8 seconds. So how much time they'll meet? They'll meet after 8 seconds. Okay, so car A, now car B. Now what is there? So by after 8 seconds, that B and C will meet. Okay, so how much time the A have? Because A want to meet B before B and C cross each other. Means A need to cross B in 8 seconds. The time what the A have to cross B is 8 seconds. Now you can think about a situation. Now this is A, now this is B. Now the speed of A, suppose x, and the speed of B is 45 kilometer per hour. The distance between them is 50 meter. The distance between them is 50 meter. And the time what the A have, so the A have how much time? A have only 8 seconds. Before 8 seconds, A need to cross B. Okay, so what is the relative speed between A and B? So if A want to cross B, then definitely the speed of A should be more than B. So the relative speed between them is x minus 45 kilometer per hour. You can convert that into meter per second by multiplying with 5 by 18. I believe everyone knows the conversion part. 5 by 18 to convert the kilometer per hour into meter per second. We multiplied with 5 by 18 in order to convert a meter per second into kilometer per hour. We multiply that with 18 by 5. So the relative speed between them is x minus 45. I multiply that with 5 by 18 so that I can convert the speed into meter per second into time. What is the time it have? It has 8 seconds, and the distance between them is 50 meter. And the distance between them is 50 meter. Okay, so you need to find the value of x. So this would be 10. This is 4za. This is 9za. So I can write 4 into x minus 45 is equal to 90. So 4x minus 180 is equal to 90. 4x is equal to 270. So x is equal to 270 by 4. So the value of x is the value of x is 6 30 67.5 kilometer per hour. This is the value of x. Fine. So not at all a difficult problem. This problem you can put as an easy level. You need to understand the concept of relative motion. Whenever the two objects move in opposite direction, the relative speed between them is a plus b. While if the two objects move in same direction, then the relative speed between them is a minus b, provided that a is more than b. So if you use the concept of relative speed and all, you can easily solve this question. Getting answer for this problem is not at all a big thing for you. So I hope you can easily understand. Then you should know the conversion of kilometer per hour into meter per second. So to convert kilometer per hour into meter per second, we multiply that with 5 by 18. In order to convert a meter per second into kilometer per hour, we multiply that with 18 by 5. So this part is clear with you all. So 80 is clear. Now 81, the ratio of the two-digit number and the number formed by reversing the digit is 4 is to 7. So two-digit number, let the two-digit number is 10x plus y. And I think everyone knows if I reverse the digits, then the number will be 10y plus x. And I think by this time, if you have doubt on how the 10-digit, how the two-digit number is 10x plus y, then means there's a big problem. Means you are not prepared for the exam. Still, you need to do a lot of preparation for the exam. You should be very clear with this concept. So 4 by 7. So just do the cross multiply. So 70x plus 7y is equal to 40y plus 4x. So I can write 66x is equal to 33y. So I can write 2x is equal to y. Okay, so you need to understand here what I'm doing. Here I'm assuming let the unit digit. So it is talking about a two-digit number. So let the unit digit of the number, let the unit digit of a two-digit number is y. So then the 10th place digit, then your 10th place digit will be x. So then your number will be 10x plus y. If you reverse the digit, then your number will become 10y plus x. And so here your x, here your y is equal to 2x. So here your y is equal to 2x. So if your y is equal to 2x means what? So you know that no integer. So the x can be anything. X can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4. So y would be 2 or 4 or 6 or 8. Okay, so where your y is your unit digit and your x is your 10th place digit. So your number will be your number would be 12, or your number is 24, or your number is 36, or your number is 48. So you put any value of x. Here I'm not putting x equal to 5. Why I'm not putting x equal to 5? Then I'll get y equal to 10. That is not possible. Okay, so the possible value, so the number is can be this if I reverse the digit. So new number, if I reverse the digit, new number, if I reverse the digit, new number when digit reversed, new number when the digit reversed, number when the digit reversed, then your number would be 21, 42, then 63, then 84. So what you need to do, just do the sum. Do the sum. So the sum of 12 plus 21 plus 24 plus 42 plus 36 plus 63 plus 48 plus 84. You do the sum. Do the sum. 2 plus 1 3, 3 plus 4 7, 7 plus 2 9, 9 plus 6 15, 15 plus 3 18, 18 plus 8 26, 26 plus 4 30, 3 carry, 3 plus 1 4, 6 8, 12, 15, 21, 25, 330. This is the answer. What they ask in the problem, they have asked the ratio of a two-digit number and the number formed by reversing the digit. They have given that ratio as 4 is to 7. So I assume that the two-digit number is 10x plus y. If I reverse the digit, then the number becomes 10y plus x. The ratio is 4 is to 7. So I got the relation as 2x is equal to y. So then I assume the value of x. You know the digits. How many digits we have? 10 digits. No, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 10 digits. So I cannot take x equal to 0. If I take x equal to 0, then y would be 0. Then your number is 0. So there's no point of talking about that. So x can be 1. So y would be 2. X is 2, y would be 4. X is 3, y would be 6. X is 4, y would be 8. Then your number would be 12, 24, 36, 48. If you reverse the digit, your number will be 21, 42, 63, 84, and you do the sum. So you got 330. Fine. So this is the question. Now you can see this question number 82. So yeah. So let's read this question, everyone. Everyone, please read the question. Question number 82. See this, in a class of 5 students, the average weight of 4 lightest students is 40 kg. Suppose 5 students are A, B, C, D, and E. So these and suppose A is greater than B, or B is greater than A, then C, then D, then E. So the heaviest one is E, and the lightest one is A. In a class of 5 students, the average weight of 4 lightest students means A plus B plus C plus D. Their average weight is 40. So what divide by 4 is equal to 40 means the total sum is 160. Okay, and then the average weight of 4 heaviest students means B plus C plus D plus E divide by 4 is equal to 45. So 45 fours is 180. So this equation is 2. Now, if you cancel the equation 1 from equation 2, then you can write E minus A equal to 20. You can write E equal to 20 plus A. So you can, by that you can understand that the heaviest one is 20 kg more heavy than the lightest one. Okay, so you can keep that as a relation, that the heaviest one is 20 kg more heavy than the lightest one, that relationship. Okay, this part is fine, no problem. Okay, then they're asking us what is the difference between the maximum and the minimum possible average weight overall. So they're asking us the difference between maximum and minimum possible average weight overall. So what is the maximum possible average weight? So I can consider this weight if I look into this weight. So if I talk about the total weight, if I talk about the total weight, so the total weight I can say is 160 plus E. Okay, so A plus B plus C plus D is 160, and total 5 people are there. So if I talk about total weight, the total weight is 160 plus E, or I can talk about a total weight as 180 plus E. I think you can easily understand if I'm talking total weight. So in both context, I can define the total weight. Fine. And then they're asking us the difference between maximum and minimum possible. They're asking us the difference. They're asking us the difference between maximum and minimum. Maximum, you have to understand maximum possible average weight, maximum possible average weight. So what can be the maximum possible average weight? Let's think about that part. Let's think about the maximum possible average weight. So in order to determine the maximum, in order to determine the maximum uh, possible average weight, in order to determine that, what can I do? You know that the minimum average of 4 lightest people is 40, You know that now. So you know that a minimum average of 4 lightest people is 40. That part is given to you. Okay, so 4 people are there, that is 40. So means I can take all their four people A, B, C, D. Their average weight is 40. So I can say A, B, C, D is equal to 40, 40, 40. And I hope you can understand. And then you know that E is 20 more than A. So then A would be 60. Okay. So now what would be the average of this? So the average of this is already 60, 160, 160 plus 60, that is 220. 220 by 5, that is 45. So this you get the maximum possible average weight. Okay, now I'll talk about minimum possible average weight. Now minimum possible average weight. Now I'll talk about minimum possible average weight. Now I'll talk about a minimum possible average weight. You know that if you take the heavy people, so the like B plus C plus D plus E, you know that their average weight was 45. Okay, so it means B, C, I'll take the average weight is 45. So I took all of them 45. So the value of A would be 25. I hope you can easily understand. So what would be the sum of this? You know that this is 180. 180 plus 180 plus 25. That is 205. 205 plus 5, divide by 5. So the minimum possible average weight would be 41. So what is the difference? So the difference is equal to 45 minus 41. This is 180. So the difference. 1 minute. This is 44. This is 44. This is 44. So this is 41. So if you see the difference, so the difference of 44 minus 41, so the difference would be 3. Fine. So the difference between them. So what is the difference between the maximum and minimum possible average weight overall? So the difference between them would be 3. I hope you are clear with this concept. So guys, so this much for the first part of the session. So we have done how many questions? Till now we have done 76 or 77, 2 question, 3 question, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions we have done in this class. So more class like from 83, question number 83, I'll discuss in the next session. So I hope you have enjoyed this session and you have learned a lot from this session. The idea is not to make the sessions too longer so that your concentration level should not get affected. Let's take a break and then from next session I'll discuss the next set of questions, possibly after from question number 83. Okay, guys. So I hope you like this session. If you really like this session, then please like the click on the like button for the next session, and please subscribe to my channel, so that gives me a lot of motivation to do more and more hard work, and to make more and more videos where the student should be get enlightened and they'll get the best result for the exam. So it's time to say goodbye to all of you so that we can meet again for the next session. Thank you, everyone. Bye.